Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot from Minecraft Java Edition 1.17, the Caves and Cliffs Update, Part 1, has been released. Here's 21w15a, and before we get into the news in this one, we're gonna get into the news that was announced together with it, more or less. That news is that the Caves and Cliffs Update is being split into two parts. One first part coming still this summer, just as the original date was intended, and the second part coming around Christmas for the holiday season this year. The reason for this is that the update is very ambitious and technically complex, and quality and team health are being prioritized over shipping everything at that date. The focus for the different parts are mobs, blocks and items for the first part for this summer, and the larger world generation related changes coming in the Christmas or holiday release. A bunch of features have been confirmed to be in Part 1. They are starting with mobs, goats, axolotls and glow squids. And then blocks and items, crystals, and with them the Tinted Glass and Spyglass. Powder snow, all of the different Lush Cave Blocks but not the biome. The Dripstone Cave Blocks but not the biome. Deepslate and all of the Deepslate Ore Variants, including the raw ore items that we got last snapshot. Copper ore and all of the copper blocks, including the lightning rod, and glow ink and the glow item frames. In terms of world generation, only 3 things have been confirmed for the summer part. They are geodes, copper, and the improvements made to mineshafts. In addition to this, various tech-related changes are going to be in the summer update still, like the new game rule for multiplayer sleep. One notable exception to things being postponed to the second part is archaeology. Archaeology has been postponed past the Christmas update and will not be included in the Caves and Cliffs update. There is a Minecraft.net post announcing this. There's also a video with Agnes and Henrik explaining the reasons and the split more in detail, and there's also an FAQ page where you can see more information. I will have links to all of these in the video description, and a link to the video with Agnes and Henrik in an iCard on the video. If you want more information about the split, go watch that video first, and then you can come back here and get all the details about this snapshot, 21w15a, because now it is time to get into that. What does that split mean for this snapshot? That means that world generation has been switched back, pretty much to the 1.16 style of worlds. That means that the height is now once again between 0 and 256. Noise caves and aquifers have been switched off. Caves and ravines are now returned to their old settings. The crack carvers that were introduced a couple of snapshots back have been switched off. Ore distribution has been returned to 1.16 setup as well, with a couple of exceptions. Copper ore now generates between the bottom of the world and height 192. It's a triangle distribution with its focus around height 96. That means that copper is more common the higher you go up until you hit height 96, so it's likely to be more abundant in mountains. A note from the previous snapshot actually applies to this one. Tuff now generates in blobs between heights 0 and 16. This also means that worlds created before the extended world height was introduced can now be upgraded and loaded into this snapshot again. That means any world from snapshot 21w15b or earlier can now once again be opened. And conversely, worlds created in any version between snapshots 21w06a and 21w14a can no longer be opened. I've already seen a fair amount of disappointment that you can no longer play with the new cool caves. However, that isn't quite the case. The new world generation is still available as a data pack. That is linked in the Minecraft.net post, and I'll link that in the video description as well. It is a world generation data pack just like any other. Using the technology in the game, you could make this yourself. To use this, just download the data pack and apply it to the data pack screen when you create a world. It does mean that your world will be marked as experimental, which means that upgrades are not guaranteed to be supported. Before we move on to other things, one world generation bug has also been fixed in this version. That is that stone would still generate around lava pools even when at lower levels where it should generate deep slate. This bug is now fixed and probably most easily seen if you use that data pack. Let's move on to mobs. Goats have had an upgrade in this version. They've gained an attack, a ram attack, and they can apply that attack at random to anything that moves, and also to armor stands. The goat will line itself up, stomp off, and then ram the mob, giving that mob a huge boost of speed, possibly knocking them off the mountain. A related change is that creepers who get attacked by goats will know better than to go and fight back. Another change to goats is that they will now avoid walking on powder snow. One more change related to the new mobs. If you throw a water splash potion onto an axolotl, they will now gain 1.5 minutes of moisturization. Moisturizer. Let's talk about blocks and items. You can now craft 3x3 raw ores into a raw ore block. This goes for raw copper, raw iron, and raw gold. A couple of block and item fixes as well. Deepslate coal ore now drops experience like it should, and nether gold ore is once again smeltable. User interface changes. The main menu background has been updated with a new panorama. And a bunch of things have been rearranged and fixed in the creative inventory. That goes for all of the ores, all of the raw and refined different types of underground materials, a bunch of the different deepslate materials, and dripstone blocks. Visual changes in this version: the deepslate copper ore, deepslate lapis ore, stone gold ore, and stone lapis ore textures have been updated. The textures have also been updated for all the newly introduced raw ore items. Deepslate now has a new color on maps, it no longer looks like stone. And a number of bug fixes have been done to rendering, where glow lichen didn't render at all when held by an enderman, and a number of fog problems have been fixed. Let's talk about sounds. Infested deepslate sounded like stone rather than deepslate. That has been fixed in this version. But there are new sounds as well. There are new sounds for bone mealing. And new sounds for goats. They have a new sound for eating. And for ramming. And jumping. Screaming goats have also gotten updated. There are new variations of the screaming goats' screams. And new screams for them being milked. Screaming goats stomping to prepare to ram. Screaming goats hurting. And dying. There are also new subtitles differentiating screaming goats from normal goats, where normal goats will bleat, whereas screaming goats will bellow. In addition to this, stability and performance fixes in this version, including a number of crash fixes. Despite that, keep in mind that snapshots are experimental versions and can crash or cause permanent damage to your world. Also remember that any world opened in this snapshot can never be safely downgraded to any previous version again. So if you play on this version, do so on a backup of your world or in a separate test world. And those are all the changes in this version. If you want to try it out but you don't know how to, then click on the link in the iCard right now or in the video description to take you to a tutorial video about how to get and play a Minecraft snapshot. If you're curious about the technical changes for this version, for commands a new marker entity for higher performing data packs, or why not a new debug function to find out where your command functions are going wrong. All of those will be detailed in a second video coming on this channel as soon as I can get it done, and if it is done already it will appear in an iCard right here. Otherwise keep an eye on the channel for when that is out. Lots of interesting technical changes in this version. But that was all I had for you in this video. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, please help me out in return. Leave a like, drop a comment, or share it with a friend. Any interaction helps the channel grow, and we're so close to 50,000 subs now. Now, if you're interested in more such updates for Minecraft Java Edition, then please subscribe to the channel. I make both gameplay and technical update videos for all new snapshots, pre-releases, release candidates, and full releases. And of course, if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified by YouTube when the videos are out. That is all for me. Thank you for watching, my name is slicedlime, and I will see you next time.